As per a latest report by S&P Global titled China Slows, India Grows, India and not China will be Asia Pacific's growth engine. The report also mentions the deepening property sector woes and high debt levels in China. S&P Global also believes India will be the world's third largest economy by 2030. To decode this study, we have with us Pulkit Agarwal, Head of India Content at S&P Global Commodity Insights. To start with, take us what led to the analysis in the report titled China Slows, India Grows, and the factors that have led to this conclusion. The report mentions the Chinese property sector is witnessing a massive slowdown.
Okay. See, in terms of Chinese property sector, and also because it's very important for commodities. So, China property sector accounts for quite a lot, right? I mean, Chinese property sector is a heavyweight industrial sector which drives a lot of economic activity, which drives global commodity demands and global commodity prices to some extent as well, right? As we know that China sort of had a crackdown on the property sector last year, and it continues, by the way, this year, all through this year. It sometimes intensifies, and then there's certain cool offs, and then it intensifies. It comes in waves and throws. So what we have seen happening there is that the overall sentiment of the market remains a bit challenged, and that has that impacts the overall sentiments for economy in general, but commodity market specifically as well, and the prospect of demand growth for all sorts of commodities, not just oil, but if you think about plastics, for durable goods consumption, if you think about steel and metals for all the construction material, I think there is the weakness in Chinese construction sector is a cloud on all sorts of commodity sectors. On the other hand, if you think about India is going through big economic growth phase, and not just in construction, by the way, right? So which means that general consumption is going up, as also the consumption by the property sector is also going up, right? So that's that in that aspect it's sort of inverse, that a lot of optimism in terms of demand and is there from India. So in general, the outlook for Indian demand for commodities remain quite bolstered, and it is of course supported by the construction sector, but even beyond that, right, even general consumption is quite healthy right now in India.
All right. Now, Pulkit, there are also projections for higher oil prices going forward. Take us through those details.
Yeah. So see, talking about oil markets right now. So right now, what is happening is, oil market is well supplied right now, right? I mean, even before this OPEC plus cut that happened, few days back, S&P Global in its sort of projections on oil balances for the next year did project a surplus oil supplies for the first and second quarter, which is from January to June of 2024. After that, of course, there's a seasonal trend that happens, right? I mean, oil demand sort of goes up during the summer months of July, August, and September, when northern hemisphere of the world experiences summer, and the demand sort of goes up. So there's going to be some deficits. So right now the situation is that even after OPEC plus cuts, which by the way is about 2.2 million barrels per day, and which accounts for almost 0.7 to 0.8 million barrels per day of additional production cuts from what they were currently doing, right? So with these level of cuts, even there's going to be surplus supplies in the first quarter, definitely, second quarters maybe, and that will result into build up of global inventories of oil as well. It's this sort of weakness of oil demand, rather, or rather the strength of oil supplies that keeps the prices to where they are right now. Of course, if you consider the current prices are like a playground for oil. So the playground for oil prices can set to be between 75 and maybe 95, right? Oil prices might go beyond that, if there is a major shock event that happens, because oil prices are quite sensitive to those things. But overall, we believe that 80 to 85 is the sort of range where the oil prices should remain in the first half of next year, if nothing changes. In terms of second half of next year, of course, there's going to be some seasonal pickup of demand as well. So we do expect, by the end of third quarter of next year, we might see oil prices inching, from 80, 85 levels towards 90 levels, and maybe even crossing that.
All right. So as per these projections, how will rising oil prices play out for India then? India, of course, being a key oil importer.
Yeah. See, India is a major import. I mean, India is largely dependent on imports of oil for its domestic needs. Of course, the current prices of oil, the current oil price environment has been okay for India. I mean, we have seen India do. I mean, being quite content with the prices of oil if it remains, let's say, below $80 a barrel. I think that's the point of comfort that in my general awareness is there for the Indian markets. I mean, whenever the prices are jumpy, and if they reach towards $90 a barrel or even higher, I think that's the zone where Indian economy becomes a bit sensitive about oil. So of course, any jump on oil prices beyond 85, towards 90 or even higher is sensitive for the Indian markets, and we have seen we have seen heightened awareness about this aspect as well.
All right. Lastly, India's bright prospects mentioned in the report as well, along with S&P saying India set to become the third largest economy by 2030. Take us through the factors you think will contribute most to this uptick for the Indian economy going forward.
In commodities market, India has a bright prospect. India's energy demand and commodities demand in general is growing. If you just talk about any fundamental sector like steel, India is probably the only market in the world which is looking to set up new steel capacities. India is the only market which is looking to put up new refineries because the demand is simply there, right? So I'm a hopeful for India because I cover the commodity market. From a commodity standpoint, India definitely is a story to look for.
Sure. So India definitely a story to watch out for. Thank you so much for this interaction.
Thank you. Thanks.